baseball's going good. It's going good in the state of Wisconsin. We have the Lake Country Dockhounds. We're still in first place. We have our Milwaukee Brewers are on a total roll, dominating in every aspect. And this is the year that I think our Milwaukee Brewers, I think the bubble doesn't burst sooner than later. So, again, we have the trade deadline coming up, so I know Hunter on the backside is thinking, and he's talking, Timmy Allen and all the boys, and they think of what's going to happen. But I think if the Brewers can make some strategic moves, we may be going deeper into October than once ever done.
Oh, boy. Well, I don't even want to think about that right now because, we've had a lot of heartbreaks over the last couple of years, and we're just going to keep riding this wave until it's no longer a wave. That's the way that.
Right. We have heartbreaks. We have heartbreaks in baseball, and we have heartball out in the field, in the woods.
Oh man, yeah. Well, besides that, hey, hopefully you're all showered up. You've been working the food plots all week. We've been going back and forth, and it's funny. Thursday morning, I think it was, or Wednesday morning. I was driving out to Madison, and I know you were saying you were getting ready to put all your seed in the ground, and I'm thinking, I don't know if he knew what time it was going to start raining, but I think it's earlier than what they had expected, unless he was up at like 5 o'clock on Wednesday morning. I'm not sure that he got the seed in the ground. Sure enough, you texted me back right away, and you said, yep, I was out there at 6:10 this morning and wrapped up just as the first drops fell.
I did. And yeah, nobody was up. When you get up in a house and it's so quiet, and there's no coffee, there's no nothing, but I snuck out there, and yes, I got them both done. I don't know. It's so weird when you hand spread, and I'm not just, I don't have that little smaller one. I have the bag. I strap it on my shoulder, and I'm cranking it, and I set it. But, you try to look for seed that's coming out. The only way I can ever determine where I'm at and kind of what let's just say my directory or my range is when I come close enough to green and I can hear actual seeds pelting the leaves. So I know that I got that. But again, I don't know who does it so perfectly and how they always do it, but it's a hard thing to remember where you're walking back and forth. And, obviously I don't, tack down lines or anything like that. I kind of try to follow my footprints, and you kind of got to say and wait until it sprouts and see what happens. But very excited about how it's going to look. And hopefully both food plots got enough coverage, and we'll have a great year.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I feel like this is kind of like a never-ending saga for you in these food plots. We've tried so many different things over the years, and, I think your biggest hindrance with this food plot is you have too many deer out there that they just eat it right away.
And that's why, and we started late. I started late this year. I wasn't sure. I always thought like the end of July, August was going to be it. But so I had somebody come in there, and what we're going to do next year is, next year we are going to drill beans in there. So I'm going to have those Roundup ready forage beans in both plots.
Nice.
And then that other little side, just going to have the brassicas and my rapes and a couple radishes and stuff like that. But again, I'm going to expand water holes next year, and I'm going to drill beans in there for, again, a forage bean that, again, they get overwhelmed by so many deer here. Yeah.
Well, hey, I don't want to cut you short there, but we have so much happening in our show this week. It's an exciting time of the year for us because, we're like, I don't know if we're at the 6-week deadline now or 5-week. I don't even know what frickin' week it is leading into the season at this point. But I had a conversation with one of our friends that has been on the show before and somebody who we were hoping to meet in person a couple months ago at Vortex Optics, Mark Boardman, who is the brand experience manager. And we talk about a lot of different things. Here we were thinking that it was just going to be, maybe just the middle segment of the show. I think they got some new stuff that's coming out. And all of a sudden, we're rapping, and I'm like, man, we just have so much that we can talk to him about. So this is a good one. This is a big one. And it's always nice, as I always say, I love to highlight the brands that are critical players in the outdoor industry that we're so fortunate to have in our backyard. And we have so many of them in the state of Wisconsin, whether that's Chris Ham at HHA or, the guys up at Faradyne, Matthews Archery. We're super, super fortunate to have all of these. Federal Premium is here. Whenever we get the chance to talk to these guys, it's never a dull conversation, first and foremost, but at the same time, we love to talk about the things that they love to talk about and that they're experts on, because as we always say to everybody, Wags, it's better than just hearing the knuckleheads talk for an hour. So when we have somebody else that comes in and they actually give us some good knowledgeable insight on things that are happening or products in the industry that is their specialty, we love to have that happen. I just real quickly, thanks to the Dock Hounds for everything going on with the Dock Hounds. Just go to dockhounds.com. The season is in full swing. They're playing super well. And then I also just want to say thanks to Bunzel's. I won't be able to talk about their meat deal at this point because it's not released yet for August. But Bunzels.com for everything as we're heading into playoff season here. Make sure to stop by for all your tailgating needs. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Mark Boardman here after a quick stop. And this is Wags and Tasker holding it down on a Saturday morning for Tailgate Talk on 97.3 The Game. Highlight brands from Wisconsin that play a pivotal and important role and are a big part of the outdoors. Mark Boardman from Vortex Optics is joining us today, and this is our second time actually that we've had Mark on our show, and it's an exciting time of the year. But before we get to that, Mark, why don't you just give us your background, just for anybody who's tuning in for the first time or who has never kind of heard your story, everything you do at Vortex Optics, and maybe why don't we throw a wild card in there, your favorite wild game to hunt?
Oh man, no, those that last one might be the toughest question.
Okay.
So yeah, Mark Boardman, Vortex Optics. We're based out of Barneveld, Wisconsin, and gosh, I've been with the company going on 17 years now, which is hard to believe. Always in the marketing department. Back in the day when we had a lot smaller team, it felt like we all sat in the same room and got to look at each other, and everybody wore multiple hats. I was doing everything from media relations, media buying, media planning, sponsorships, copywriting, and everybody else was kind of doing a lot of those same things as well. Over time, the company's grown. Our team has grown. We're in excess of, 400 people now. Wow. And just super fortunate to have the team that we do here at Vortex. A lot of passionate hunters and shooters, everybody from the product development team to the marketing team to consumer sales, everybody in between. Everybody here working on and having an absolutely pivotal role. And I always say the ethos of the company, we're a very customer-focused company. We focus on our customers, which, could be the end user, it could be our dealers, but it makes our lives easier because really you just kind of get to do the right thing, which feels good as well. And, designing, we have a diverse and deep lineup of optics, binoculars, rangefinders, spotting scopes, related accessories, and so something for everybody, different price points. Like I said, it's a deep lineup. So if you have an optics need, I'd say there's likely a Vortex optic to suit that need. And so that makes it fun as well.
I'm sure there is. I think it's funny. So,
and actually, not to keep talking or
go ahead.
Interrupt, but I should talk about what I do primarily now. As our team has grown, we've been able to specialize and focus on things. So I'm super fortunate. I get to host the Vortex Nation podcast. So, guys, usually I'm the one that gets to ask the questions, but and that's something that's grown over time. And again, super fun. Get to talk about topics that we're passionate about, and really serve our customers and meet them where they're at.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've had the chance to listen to a couple of those. I think you guys have about 408 maybe is the last number that I saw. But you guys do a great job of being able to go back and forth of the super, super in-depth for people who know all about cartridge sizes and different ballistics and, just a variety of things that can be super, super in-depth and granular. But at the same time, you can also bring it back and just be very relatable in talking about some of those things that can be, like for me, I always say I'm a huge bow guy. And I'm lucky to shoot a deer with a gun because I'm just not a firearm guy. But You make it so that everybody can kind of understand it, which is very fitting for your clientele because you have such a wide variety of the elementary advocates for the outdoor all the way to the top tier, sniper rifles and all of those things that are top of the line. So that's very cool that you guys do that.
Yeah, and it's great. And I mean, you nailed it. We cover everything from 101 level stuff all the way up to stuff that's, super in-depth, intricate, nuanced. And it's not all optics stuff, right? I mean, we talk about optics occasionally. I mean, actually, we kind of even joke about that. I mean, it's mostly hunting, firearms, cartridges, reloading, archery stuff, like you said, competitive shooting, all the different disciplines of competitive shooting. Interesting and unique firearms. I mean, man, it's definitely a variety show, and like we were talking about earlier, with the optics themselves, something for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what? We're really being fortunate enough to go, and I don't know how often you have public tours and stuff like that and how easy it is to do it, but with that HHA event that we went up to and getting the tour of it, seeing everything from and listening to the stories, like you said, of ballistics, I think in this one chamber, I think they were testing 50 cal. And you were firing off, I want to make up a number, and you can tell me I'm way off, 10,000 rounds in an hour. I'm going to make this number up. But before you had this equipment to do that, you were reloading by hand, doing it, firing, reading it, adjusting, and it was taking like multiple days, whereas now you can get stuff done in almost 10,000 rounds in either an hour or a half an hour or a half a day, whatever that was. But it was just incredible on how fast you can make adjustments, how you can see how product works, and how and where the super smart people, because every single person that you had working a machine, and I don't know if you staged this that well, but they all were super uber smart. And I'm like, dude, are you an engineer? Like, do you work for NASA and Vortex? Like, where do you come from?
Well, number one, it sounds like you got a bit of a window into some of our durability testing.
Yeah.
And but I mean, you're right. You're right. I mean, we have some really, really smart folks here, top to bottom. And again, just super blessed to have them on our teams and in various places throughout the company. And I mean, you're right. I mean, they're true experts in every way that you could conceive there. Yeah, that's cool that you got to see that though.
And then we saw the guys walking around in Crocs, and then they said about this air thing where you go in this compressor and they take like dead skin. I mean, obviously you don't want anything on the film or the glass or anything, and I understood it all, but I go, can I get a pair of those Crocs? And then we're talking to the guy, and this is, again, no disrespect to the guy in your inventory room, which is huge, immaculate. I'm going to say it seemed like it was about 3 miles high, and you had shelves all the way up to the top. And he's operating this lift to bring stuff down, and he's wicked smart too. And again, I'm not saying that, my God, I don't mean to degrade anybody or their intelligence because of where they work with Vortex, but it seemed like everybody was so knowledgeable, and the place is just phenomenal.
No, thank you so much. Yeah, and it's again, we were based out of Middleton, Wisconsin, and actually it was awesome, but we kind of continually outgrew this business park, and having this new facility in Barneveld and having it be as well thought out and robust as it is, again, it gives us the tools that we need to serve our customers best. And where you were talking about where that testing was taking place, that was taking place at our range facility, Vortex Edge, where we do everything from product development, product testing. We have a team of instructors there, so the public, it's not a public range per se, but customers can book specific courses related to firearms and shooting disciplines that they're interested in. So if you were like, hey man, I really want to learn how to shoot a pistol well, We have our pistol pipeline, so that that's going to be like a multi-course as you work your way through it. We have a hunter marksmanship course, carbine courses. So again, whatever a person is interested in and wants to get better at, we've got a team here in-house at Vortex. We have the facilities in-house at Vortex with an indoor 100-yard range, one of the very few indoor 100-yard ranges in the country. We have an indoor dynamic 50-yard range, 20-yard range. I think the range that you were on, I think, is like a 10-yard, and that's essentially just used to dump rounds for durability testing. But again, it gives us just the tools and the people we need to serve our customers.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I'm glad that we're talking about us being out there for the tour, because that was one thing why I had reached out to you, and I said, oh, man, I wish I would have been able to meet you in person, and, I didn't happen to run into you that day. But you started off the conversation by saying, we're super customer focused, and we do everything that we can to make sure that our products exceed any expectations that our customers have, and it's super client centric. When a lot of brands talk about that, they will say that they can do that. But when we went through the tour, and I think maybe the warehouse was a perfect example, and we got to hear a little bit of the background and the insight on what happened in 2020 with COVID and how that really reshaped the way that you guys think and the way that Joe Hamilton thinks about his entire process from manufacturing to delivery to the customer's hands. And the ability for you guys to adapt to that for anything that may happen in the future, or whether that's rapid expansion or all of that stuff, the forethought with all of the things that come with what Vortex is truly is client-centric. And it is taking in all of those considerations for whatever might happen in the future, but doing everything they can right now to earn people's trust for whenever that day comes. It's incredible to see that and to actually have a company back up what they preach and are so proud of everything that they do. It's just so cool to see that.
Hey, let me interrupt real fast. One thing I wanted you to talk about, Mark, was when we were in there, when you did this whole new transfer from Middleton, someone was saying something about, because of the fact that the micrometers and looking at how delicate everything is, that he goes, you put in, I want to say, our concrete slabs here are 17 or 14 to 17 inches thick to reduce vibration. Just the thought and process into the whole construction of the building, not necessarily putting up 4 walls and a roof. I mean, there was some in-depth thought to that, as Eric was talking about, and it's for the consumer. It's for the fact that if you have one shot, there's not going to be a flake of dead skin inside this glass. This is going to be to a super uber right dead nuts on target.
Both of you guys nailed it. I mean, the forethought and the foresight, of the Hamilton family, who are, I don't know what their collective IQ is, but it's a lot, guys. I mean, they are so incredibly smart and insightful and like you said, forward thinking, very forward thinking, yes. Long-term thinkers. We are not focused on the short term. We are playing a long game here. And you're talking about, the clean rooms and just every detail, I haven't pinpointed anything that I'd be like, well, I would have done that different. Or even I still get surprised. I'm like, I can't believe we thought of that. You end up needing something or using something, or we have a process in place or whatever it is. It just really is super neat. And, we're just really fortunate, and obviously, to work in an industry that so many of us here are absolutely passionate about, which I think that is important as well. I think it's important to have a lot of end users, in your facility in varying capacities and doing different jobs, because there's just things you're not going to pick up on or evolve, from a product standpoint. Like I said, it's those nuanced things that you only find out on the range or in competition or in the field that are difference makers.
Yeah. The last thing that I want to touch on just very briefly before we get into some new products that are coming out from you guys, what I thought was cool is just all those small details. How cool that you guys have that huge conservancy behind the backside of the industrial park there, and very strategically have spotting scopes placed in the front window to be able to watch turkeys, deer, whatever that is that might be out there. It's just, that's got to be so fun for you guys to be like, oh yeah, there's a big one out there.
Oh, that's right. You guys cut down. Remember, he said he cut down all that. You cut down that big hill so you guys could watch. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, it works out just absolutely perfect having, that piece that we can look out on in front of the building. And there's not, excuse me, there's not too many windows that face that way that don't have an optic sitting on the shelf right next to it or a spotter on a tripod. But again, for people who come into our showroom, excuse me, people come into our showroom, it's open to the public. They can check out any optic that they want. So if there's something that maybe it's not at their local retailer, but they want to see it, look through it, touch it, have somebody talk with them about it, talk them through it, look at the features, they can take it right outside and get a real life outdoor, view, literally view, look through the optic, which those are the conditions that you want to make your evaluation on, right?
For sure.
And the fact that there's the occasional turkey or deer out there just is an added bonus.
Yeah, that's so great. As soon as we walked up there, I was like, man, this is just so brilliant to have this. So, all right, we're talking with Mark Boardman, and there'll be more of that conversation after the break. Wags and Tasker here on Tailgate Talk, and this is 97.3 The Game. All right, so the real reason that we brought you on today, as we were planning this and as we were talking about, it's the most exciting time of the year. The anticipation is starting to build. Everybody's, getting ready, shooting their bow, getting everything dialed in for the fall. It's our favorite time leading into September, October, and then into early November. It also happens to be a very exciting time for Vortex Optics because you happen to have a new product that's releasing, and we're fortunate to hear about that today. So, Mark, I don't know how you want to tee this up, but, hey, we're excited to hear about it.
Man, well, I think you teed it up perfectly. Like, now is the time. We are getting ready for hunting season. We are on the cusp. In fact, one of my favorite hunts is a fall bear hunt back in Washington. Good. I mean, it opens August 1, right? So then you have your September archery elk, antelope seasons. I mean, there's a lot of really early fall opportunities a person can take advantage of. And one thing that can help you take advantage of those opportunities is a new optic, right? I'm always going to encourage someone to get a new optic. No, I'm just but we have our new shameless sales pitch there, right? But I don't know. It might be this is one that I would say, folks, pay attention. We're launching our new Ranger HD 3000 laser range finding binocular. And man, I tell you what, I'm absolutely jacked about this thing. It's as the name implies, Ranger HD 3000. It's got a 3,000 yard maximum, reflective ranging capability. We're looking at about 1,500 yards on game. It's a red OLED display with multiple intensities. Optically, it does an amazing job. Aesthetically, I wish you guys were looking at it here right now. Just elegant, clean, 4 range finding binocular, lightweight. You got to remember we're combining 2 pieces of kit into one. So I'd say, for the rifle hunter, for the bow hunter, to be able to streamline your kit, and then on the rifle side, I mean, a range finding binocular can be absolutely invaluable. I mean, you're able to not only spot your quarry. If you're hunting with a person or a partner, you can be actively calling out ranges. Maybe it's a longer range shot. They need to dial their dope. You can be calling those ranges. Hey, he's at 350. He's at 375.
Yep.
He's at 4. Okay, cool. He just turned. Execute the shot. Now you're not transitioning between two things, right? You're doing all of that real time. You can spot a miss. You can spot a hit. You can track the animal. Be like, oh, hey, you know what? He went into the brush right by that big tree. I know that because I was still watching him through my binoculars. There's just so many scenarios where a range-finding binocular really is a key asset, and I can't recommend this one enough. And it's coming in at a price point that for a range finding binocular is just super solid. I think at retail you're going to find it, $7.99 thereabouts. But yeah, this is a good one. I mean, you could probably hear the excitement in my voice, but folks who are, have been looking for something like this, I would definitely say go to your local retailer. Heck, come out here to Vortex and take a look at it, because you may just come home with one.
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say congrats, because I feel like this is one of those pieces of technology. We always think, how is it going to get better? How is it going to improve? I think this is that one piece of technology that so many people are looking for a number of reasons. One, it's lighter when you're on those longer packs, is because it's only one piece instead of two. But also, you're never taking your eye off the game then, too. So if you are spotting for somebody, you can range, but then also never take your eyes off. So Wags is out there. He's got a 400-yard shot on a world-class elk, and I'm able to just spot it up and be able to keep my eyes on it to see where it goes or where he hits, because that is always.
And then you go, yeah, you missed.
I didn't see any hit.
you missed again. You missed again.
Yeah, but valuable information
for sure. So how long have you been hearing, hey, this is what we want, this is what we want? I mean, it feels like forever that people have been talking about bringing a combo item like this to market. And how long does it typically, and maybe you can't say, but how long does it typically take for like the initial idea and concept to actually come to fruition of the launch of a product?
It depends on the product, right? And what that dev process might look like. But, I'd say oftentimes it's multiple years, right? Particularly for something that has, you're combining, obviously a precision optical system, as well as electronics, I don't know the exact timeline on this one, but I do think it was, a couple years at least. But it's important. You want to get it right. We've had range-finding binoculars in our lineup for several years right now. In fact, when I first started at Vortex, not one of the first questions, but one of the most common questions we would get is like, oh, gosh, when are you guys going to come out with a range-finding binocular? And, man, we would get that a lot.
Yeah.
And we did with our Fury series. But one thing that oftentimes you get with a range-finding binocular is a price tag, right?
Sure.
There's just a lot going on there. So this one, I'm not saying that $7.99 isn't nothing, because that's certainly a chunk of change, but in the grand scheme of range-finding binoculars, I think it hits a really nice sweet spot. That's going to be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more palatable for folks out there. And, man, like I said, this one, it definitely gets the job done for sure.
Well, and when you get into even a medium tier class of binos, and then your higher end or even your entry level rangefinders, you're talking at a couple $100 a pop there anyways. So comparably, it's really not like a significant difference in terms of, hey, I'm going to buy this and then I'm going to buy that. You're paying for essentially both of them at the same time for the convenience of having them built into one. And then also you're dropping a little bit of weight there. I know that's not the end of the world for everybody, because a rangefinder weighs, not much, but it's still the compactness of it. And hey, it's one less thing that I have to forget when I go out to the woods now, I guess.
Yeah, I will say probably the most commonly misplaced in the field optic is the rangefinder. I think oftentimes because it's small, it's handheld. We're using it in the heat of the moment. Something moves, we're like, we got to make a move.
Right.
This one you at least can have fully tethered into your binocular harness system. And you touched on this earlier. It's like probably one of the biggest things you're shaving is time, right? We all know, like, when you're getting an opportunity in the field, time is of the essence. And so to not be, and I still use handheld rangefinders, so I'm not trying to throw any shade at handheld rangefinders. There's a lot of scenarios where I am using a handheld rangefinder, but in some of those where you're able to shave that time, that can be the difference between, coming home with a, pickup with a buck, bull, or bear in the back or not. And so, that's something to take into consideration for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I don't know, between your release and your rangefinder, I'm not sure what gets forgotten more, but either one is obviously very critical in the hunt. So,
Well, that one, real quick, that one, so this is a 3,000. So the one I got when I came up with one of my buddies, one of our baseball buddies came up there, I think I got, tell me if I'm wrong, this Fury, I think it was I'm going to make it up, so tell me if I'm way what. I thought it was like an HD 5000 or something like that. And now you're saying this new one is a 3. What is the 5? Like, what's my max? Like, am I wrong? Is it a 5,000? Was it the HD? Maybe I got a 500. Maybe it was the HD 500, not 5,000. I don't know.
No, you got it right. So the Fury HD 5000, that's been in our optics lineup for a few years now.
Yeah, okay.
Again, it's a range-finding binocular as well. Same thing in the nomenclature. The 5,000 denotes a 5,000-yard max reflective range, but that unit's just going to carry a higher price tag than this one. So, again, you're getting a lot of those same features here. A little lesser max reflective range, but I'd say for most folks out there, 3,000 yards is certainly sufficient.
Yes.
For what they're going to be doing with it. And so, so it's just a different model with a lot of similar features. Yeah.
So we got the trade-in, right? I bring that up to Vortex and I get a trade. Paul, hey, I'm here. Mark told me I could give you my old one and you give me the brand new one. Nope.
There was something special you were looking for last time. I was trying to rack my memory on what that was, but you were getting like a custom-made product just specifically for whatever your ailment was, Wags, the last time we talked to Mark. So,
well, yeah, because when we went up there with the other guys, when I went up there, and they all came back with the spotting scope. So one of my buddies came up there with he's in Arizona, and I don't know. I think the spotting scope he ended up getting, I don't even know the number. If we're talking 3,000 and 5,000, I think he got like moon. It was like spotting scope to the moon. Like he picked up an antelope on the moon. Oh,
well, you never know.
Nice.
I mean, I'm sure there's regulations there too. There's got to be DNR up there. Oh, that's funny. Well, good. So that's obviously your big announcement, but do you have, anything else new in the lineup this year that you want to touch on? We'll just roll for a couple more minutes here, and, anything else you want to touch on?
One that kind of pops into my head, and it might seem like a small thing, but it's definitely a big thing, or can be a big thing. When we're talking about shooting rifles, stability is key. Tripod shooting is getting more and more popular. There's different, stocks with Arca rails or different systems in place, to gain that stability from, a kneeling, a sitting, or even a standing height when there isn't a rest around. You might, like you just brought up antelope hunting. Well, golly, it can be tough to get a solid rest over the sagebrush out in country like that.
Right.
We actually have our new rifle clamp that integrates with all of our tripods or other tripods. It's universal, great for a ground blind, great for if you have kids. It's just going to clamp on the horn of the rifle, and it's going to give you that stability to execute a shot in field conditions. Our switchback tripod, it works perfectly with that. All in all, a pretty darn lightweight system, and again, it's going to give you that stability to execute that shot, increase your effective range, and capitalize on opportunities you get. And I think tripods oftentimes get, when people are thinking about using a tripod and like our Pro Rifle Clamp, they're thinking, Western, long range, which it certainly can be. But boy, I tell you what, you've got some agricultural fields, you've got a ground blind or a box blind or even just out in the field, right? You get in these field conditions where you're just out there somewhere. I think the Midwest and areas like that, don't overlook something like this for your rifle season.
Now, is that clamp, is that weapon specific, is that rifle specific? You said universal, whether I'm shooting, let's just make up a Remington, a Winchester, something long, something short, something caliber heavy, caliber soft, shotgun, if we're deer hunting in Iowa. And is this clamp, or is it, like I said, is it weapon? Hey, what are you shooting? I got a Remington shotgun, or make something up.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, it's going to integrate with any of those, right? So yeah, I mean, it's just as simply as almost like a a cup that the fore end slides in. You tighten the clamp down. It provides.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Hold it
Yeah.
in place.
Gotcha. Good.
You could step away from it. You could have it set up and even step away from it if you have enough tension, and it's just going to sit there for you.
Wow.
Gotcha. Okay, I got it. I picture it.
That's awesome. Well, Mark, I'm excited to tell you that I have finally upgraded after missing deer a number of times now, even at Weg's place this past year. I found a great deal on a Diamondback rifle scope. I just got like the tactical version because it was the one that was on sale. But we got me and my dad are both upgrading our rifle sights this year. And we're going to a 3x9 40 millimeter. And then I'm not even sure what the VMR1 reticle has any implication on that. I don't know if that's just like the aperture on it, but I'm like, you know what? Now I actually don't have an excuse. I can't say that my rifle sight is 30 years old. That's as old as the gun. So we made the transition. I'm so excited to actually get that thing put on and get to the range and start shooting with that. And I'm excited. I'm sure it's a nice quality, kind of middle range rifle sight from Vortex.
It is, yeah. It's going to hit a nice sweet spot of price, performance, features. Going to integrate some of those, longer range features if you do want to extend your effective range. Possibly go through the process of getting your ballistic data, so you can dial for a longer range shot. A little bit more. As far as a little bit more intricate reticle there, a little bit more information there if you do want to hold off your reticle if you know your ballistic data.
Okay.
And but like you said, with all of these performance increases, yes, it's making the excuses more difficult and harder to come by. That's for sure.
Wags, close your ears. You didn't hear that. Oh man. Well, that's good. Hey, where can people find you? What do you got on tap? Why don't we just wrap up with that? What do you got on tap for the fall, and wrap up with where can people find you?
Man, so personally, I had an awesome spring bear hunt this year already. I've got an upcoming archery elk hunt. Hopefully, it doesn't transition into a rifle hunt. Hopefully, I can
Okay.
And then, oddly enough, or later in the season, I should say, once the rifle season opens, and then super unique, at least to me. First time kind of going out of country, outside of, I guess, not counting Canada. Going to go hunt red stags in Scotland. So that's
awesome.
Absolutely amazing. The landscape looks just super stunning. That's kind of what drew me to it, was the landscape. It almost reminds me of like the Alpine of Kodiak, but in Scotland. And it might be just as wet. I'm not sure. But and then for finding getting a hold of Vortex Optics, give us a shout. We do want to talk to you. Somebody will pick up the phone, and it doesn't have to be even an optics related question. We're happy to chat about anything. We've got a crack squad downstairs from hunting, shooting, competitive shooting. If you've got a rifle and you're trying to figure out, what kind of mounting system I want to do, or I'm troubleshooting something. Or you do have a question about an optic. We got the team there to answer those questions. 800-426-0048. Check us out at vortexoptics.com. Hit us up on any of your traditional, it's weird that I'm saying traditional social media platforms. We have folks there that can answer your questions or, interact there. And I'd say check out the Vortex Nation podcast, the Vortex Nation YouTube channel. I mean, we do have a really robust library of content there. Like you said, for our full-length podcast, we launch 2 podcasts a week, right? So one is a long form on Mondays. One is a shorter form on Tuesdays. At first, we were calling them 10-minute talks, and we just couldn't hold ourselves to that limit. So we're launching 2 podcasts a week. So I think we're getting actually close to that 800 mark, which is, hard to believe.
Wow.
And so, like, again, something where people can get an in-depth, detailed look or information on something that they might be interested in or have a question about.
Awesome. Well, Mark, we always enjoy having you on. We'll have to get out there sometime when you're actually out there, or the next time that you're swinging through the Milwaukee area. We'll have to get together. And man, we just always appreciate you jumping on, and it's exciting to talk about new products with you when the opportunity arises. And good luck this fall.
Man, no, thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity and having me on. Always good chat with you guys. I think I was actually hunting when you guys came to visit. But yeah, let's connect soon. Yeah, man, happy hunting and shooting. The season is upon us.
It's here. It's here.
Full of anticipation. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. Thank you again, Mark.
All right. Well,
all right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, you bet. Well, hey, for a short conversation that ended up turning into 2 full segments for us here, I just couldn't let it go that we had so much to talk about on the front end, and then to be able to wrap up and talk about just all the new products and everything that Vortex is coming out with. Wags, I hope you end up buying that, because I would. Yeah,
well, you know what I really wanted to know is, so he goes out, he got his spring bear hunt. So I wanted to know black bear, brown bear. I've always wanted
I'll send you the picture.
Go up.
I saw it on Instagram.
I wanted to go Cody. I wanted to go up there. I want to go up to Alaska and go to Kodiak. I didn't know, like, you know how we have for turkeys, we have the Grand Slam for the turkeys. You got to go down to Florida for the Osceola, whatever you get your 4. I wondered if anybody had ever done, not probably, you got to get a special, super special tag for a polar bear. But I wonder if anybody ever has gotten, if there's a Grand Slam for bear as well, because that would be kind of intense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll talk about that next week. So, well, good. All right. So for Wags and Tasker, this has just been another edition of, Saturday mornings, waking up with the fellas, tailgate talk. We will talk to you next week.